Hey everybody, Melissa here, and it's been a while since I've done a video, and today's video I think is very important. I've been wanting to do this one for a while, and this is just in regards for us type 2 diabetics, whether you are going to start a whole food plant-based lifestyle or you're already eating a whole food plant-based lifestyle and you're trying to get your diabetes under control or find the right way you should be eating to get that control. You want to get off your medications, you want to get off insulin, you want to have a better A1C. Well, this is just some information that I think you should know, if you already don't, on how to get your numbers lowered and how to start seeing that success. And of course, I've had my success with a whole food plant-based lifestyle. So I'm using my iPhone today because my laptop with my old movie maker software died and they no longer make that software. So hopefully the quality is decent. If not, I apologize beforehand. So let's get right to the information. If you haven't seen any of my videos before, I am a type 2 diabetic. I was diagnosed about 16 years ago. I did low carb for most of that time, and I was on anywhere from 2 to 6 pills a day. I took metformin, I took glipizide and other sulfonylureas for years. I took anywhere from 2 to 6 pills a day until all of a sudden, after years of being on metformin, my stomach could no longer handle it. My diabetes was going out of control and I was put on insulin. In less than a year, I went from 10 units of insulin a day to 70 or more. And I had gained a lot of weight from the insulin and I was feeling really crappy about myself. I had knee problems, if you know my story. And so I decided to finally try a whole food plant-based lifestyle to get my diabetes under control, to feel good again, to lose weight, to just gain control of my life. And I got off those 70 units of insulin in just 4 weeks. My A1C went down. The video's up there. I honestly, it's been a while and I don't remember, so please excuse me if I give the wrong number. I believe it went down to a 5.7. You can watch it and double check my numbers for me. It had gone back up after that to about a 6.2, and my most recent one that I took about a month ago was a 5.4. So it went up a little bit, and the reason it went up is because when I took that A1C and did it here on YouTube to show the results, I had been having a lot of lows from getting off the insulin from eating this way. So it reflected in that A1C, and then no longer having lows and being kind of more normal, it went up a teeny tiny bit, and it's just progressively now getting better and better and better. Meaning my diabetes is not cured yet, but it's healing. It is getting better, and I'm finding that I'm now able to handle foods that I used to not be able to handle. And that's what I wanted to talk about in this video, is how to know what to eat and what not to eat, because yes, it can be very confusing. Online, on videos, on Facebook, I always say that I eat the closest to Dr. Fuhrman's books, Eat to Live and The End of Diabetes. I'm not 100% perfect with that right now, and the reason why is because you still kind of have to tailor and make this your own. One of the things about diabetes and why one plan for everybody to follow doesn't necessarily work is because we're all different. I can eat oats and oatmeal. I eat steel cut oats for breakfast almost every day, and I'm talking a big portion, and my blood glucose levels rarely go over 90 from that. So I'm able to eat oatmeal, whereas someone else who's a type 2 diabetic may skyrocket if they eat oatmeal. So this is why it's about finding what you can handle and eating, here's the phrase, eat to your meter. This is so important. This is something I did within the first week of being diagnosed as a diabetic. And trust me, when I was diagnosed, I didn't know what the hell diabetes even was. I walked out of there thinking I had some old person disease and I didn't know what it really meant. And when you educate yourself and read it, it's not just about sugar. It's not just about carbs. The reality is what causes type 2 diabetes is fat. And I get it. There's going to be people out there who watch this video who are going to leave nasty comments and say, I don't know what I'm talking about, and blah, 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 blah. Don't care. Bye-bye. I'm going to delete your comments. Don't bother leaving them. Okay? I'm not here saying this to debate you. Okay? I'm just saying what causes diabetes is fat. The fat on our bodies and the fat we eat gets clogged into our body's cells and doesn't allow the cells to absorb the glucose to use it for its energy. So then that glucose doesn't have a place to go and it goes into our blood, and then it ends up getting stored as more fat. And then the problem keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And that's why the insulin did such a poor, crappy job for me, because it just made me fatter and it allowed even less of that insulin to get through. So I kept having to up my dose, and it was just getting worse and worse and worse. So when you start eating a whole food plant-based lifestyle, you're going to start eating foods that are high in nutrients but low in calorie, low in fat, and you're going to start shedding the fat. And as you do that, your body's going to start being able to process the glucose that, the sugars and the carbohydrates that you're eating, and they're going to start being able to get into the cells and be the fuel that it wants to be and burn it off and burn off the fat. And that's how you're going to lose weight. And the more weight you lose, the better your insulin, your resistance gets. Your insulin resistance is going to get less and less and less, and soon you're going to need less and less insulin. I was waking up with fasting levels in the 50s. And that's when I would reduce my insulin from 5 to 10 units. And then I'd be good for a couple days. And then the same thing would happen. I'd wake up in the 50s and I'd reduce again. And I kept doing that until I was completely off. But you have to eat to your meter. So what this means is that when you are going to go ahead and eat a meal, you really have to take a look at what you're eating. So if you eat a banana and it spikes you to 200 or 300, don't eat bananas. You can't handle bananas, at least not yet. Not until you get some of this fat out of the cells so that the cells can take in the glucose from that banana. If you react strongly to oatmeal, like I said, I don't, and even didn't a year ago, then don't eat oatmeal. If you can't handle a baked potato or making air fryer French fries or something like that, or mashed potatoes, don't eat potatoes. So when you're on this lifestyle, it's really not about going on a carb free-for-all and eating all the carbs that you want, because a whole food plant-based lifestyle is a high carb, low fat way of eating. That doesn't mean it becomes a carb free-for-all for us as diabetics. It means you still have to know what you personally react to and just not eating that food. I don't eat bread. I don't eat rice, except very rarely. I don't eat pasta. I don't even eat other grains like quinoa very often. That oatmeal tends to be my main grain of the day. And then it's usually salads or veggie burgers on lettuce. Or, I use low carb tortillas. They're not completely compliant because of some oil in them. And generally I don't use oil, but I do use it in the low-carb tortilla because I'd rather not spike than use an Ezekiel tortilla that's going to spike me to 200. Now, I don't spike to 200 anymore because I find as I go on and as I lose more weight and I get rid of especially like the belly fat, that's like the last to go, I find that my insulin resistance is going away and I'm able to handle those foods with more milder spikes. I still spike from them, but a spike for me is maybe 140. That's like max. When I used to spike into the 300s from those same foods. So 140 is like a tough spike for me. So if I test and I see 140, I'm like, okay, I still can't handle eating that, and I won't eat it anymore. Usually I rarely go above 100 anymore just based on my activity and that. So you have to be testing and knowing what your body can and cannot handle. And if you see that you're over 120 from a food, that you should now know that you need to cut out that food. Cut out those starchy foods, because let's face it, we want to heal ourselves. So go with those nutrient rich, go for the vegetables and some fruits. I use berries and very little fat. I do eat fat with almost every meal, but you're talking like 1/8 of an avocado, a tablespoon of sunflower seeds. I don't go crazy with healthy fats, but I do have them with every meal. So I'm going to even just take out my meter today, right now live. This could totally bite me in the butt, because I could say, hey, I rarely go over this or that. And then I could test myself and I could be like, whoops, this is the one time where I spiked over that and I shouldn't have aired this live because my number's horrendous. So I'm going to test my blood sugar right now, all right? I had a chickpea mash wrap and a smaller salad, and I'm 116. So that's a mild spike for me because normally I don't even really get all that much over 100. It probably is like that because I had a banana because I did a 23.58 mile bike ride today, and I probably overcompensated with the banana. But 116, that's still a great number. Sometimes when I post my numbers on the Eat to Live Diabetes support group that I created, which the link will be below, people say, I would kill for that number. You can get this number. You can have this number be regular as long as you are testing yourself and adjusting your meals accordingly. Don't eat rice. I get it that people are like, well, what else am I going to eat? Use cauliflower and make cauliflower stir fries. You know, don't eat the bread. I use the low-carb tortillas. I get whole grain ones. I honestly don't remember the brand name. I get like these 9 ancient grains, and they come in, you know, oat and flaxseed and all these other different flavors. I find them at Wegmans. They're smaller. They're about this big. And, you know, I'll have those maybe once or twice a week. I will also get mini, really skinny little low-carb pitas, and sometimes use those as a bun if I just don't feel like having just lettuce or having a veggie burger just sitting on a plate. I will sometimes use those. But in the grand scheme of things, between the tortillas and the pitas, I maybe only have 2, maybe 3 of those a week. It's not a daily thing. Most days, if you follow me on Facebook, you see the pictures, I have gigantic salads. That is one, you know, my favorite aspect of Dr. Furman and his style of eating is that it's about nutrient-dense vegetables and having a lot of vegetables as opposed to starches and grains. And he still uses those just on a smaller scale. I want to eat the foods that are going to have me lose weight, keep me satisfied. I'm eating my calories, so I'm not starving myself. I eat a lot of food, and I'm getting lower levels. And even if I go through, let's see if I go the right way with this. A recent reading, 105. Let's see. 93, here was a spike, 140, 95, let's see, 115, 118, 84, 102, 98, 99, here was a spike, 117, 106, 90, 105, 108, 74, 83, 98, 78. These are 81. So these are my numbers. And people will ask, how often do I personally test my levels? I don't test as often anymore because I kind of just know what I can eat and how my levels will be from that. So I usually only test like once a day now. Once in a while, I'll be like, hey, I haven't tested my fasting in a while. And most of these lower numbers are probably fastings. The timeline on these are really off. Like this one was a 97. That was a fasting. This one was 81, 82, 94, 80, 137. There was a spike that day. 77. You know, wow, 189. That's old. These were, see, now it just got to the beginning where it's showing the old ones from last year. That's why some of them are high. Dang. Yeah, see, look at, these are from April last year. And I have ones that are 81, 85. So, I mean, I test about once a day. But the point of today's video was just to share with you that if you want to get your numbers low, you got to stop eating the foods that trigger you. Don't eat or drink things that are going to cause spikes. So, you know, you go heavy on the foods that are. I mean, honestly, if you want to eat low calorie but fill yourself up, slice up an entire cucumber, slice up an entire tomato, put, you know, half a cup of beans with it and drizzle it with a homemade dressing and just eat nothing but that. And you fill yourself up on maybe 150 calories and you think, I can't survive on 150 calories. Well, then eat an hour later and eat another 150 calories. Do that all day long. You're going to lose weight. Your numbers are going to stay regular and you're going to feel fantastic. And you're going to be able to start lowering your meds because you're going to start having lows like I did a year ago. So that is what I wanted to share in today's video. You have to eat to your meter and you have to know what you react to and what you don't react to and what your body can handle. Eat it now. And as, like I said, as you go along, you'll find that you're able to handle certain foods even better. I can have rice occasionally. It's more out of habit that I don't have it as often as I could. But on the few days where I have some of it, like if I go to Wegmans and I get veggie sushi, I don't spike. So, you know, if I make that potato carrot cheese all the time, and when I make it, I kind of go bananas with it and have it a lot on everything. Like I use it even as salad dressing. I had some on my salad today and I was 116. So, you know, I eat a lot of that and it's not spiked. 116 to me, when I see that number, I'm like, oh shit, I spiked. And other people look at that and be like, that's great. I'd kill for that number. So do this and you will do great. So again, thanks for watching. And I do have other videos I need to do soon and other updates and everything. So, you know, just eat your meter, join the group below. You know, it's very helpful for diabetics and families of diabetics to just help gain control of your life and gain control of your numbers and lose the weight and reduce that insulin resistance and start healing your body. And you'll feel amazing when you do. So I want to thank you for watching, and, you know, I will see you all soon. I love you. Subscribe and I'll see you soon. Bye.